Hi, this is Dr. Kimberley Linert, author of Visualizing Happiness in Every Area of Your Life and host of this podcast, Incredible Life Creator. And today I have with me Ms. JoyAnn Gold. Hey, JoyAnn.
Hi there. Delighted to be here with you, Kimberly.
And we are delighted to have you. So I'm going to read your bio just so people kind of know who you are.
Okay.
JoyAnn Gold is 80 years young. She founded the Ageless Star Project, where to create a documentary film, Ageless Voices, along with a collaborative book featuring 37 authors. Following over 30 years in the interior design world, JoyAnn shifted her focus to helping women over 60 design and live beautiful lives filled with joy, passion, and purpose. She considers it her mission and legacy to help shift society's story around aging. Instead of focusing on fear and decline, our story can be an empowered one of how to be fun, fearless, and fabulous after 60. When we develop an ageless mindset, these can actually be our grandest years. To help spread the message, JoyAnn intends to be on tour presenting film screenings to multiple organizations around the world. She invites you to join in her mission to reach 1 million lives through her book and film. All right, so I'm so excited to hear your story.
Yes. Well, I'm delighted to share it. Joy and happiness has been something that I was seeking for much of my life. First of all, I was born an identical twin. They didn't even know that I was being born. Doctor said, "Oh, there's a second one." And and what that did, however, I took on the role of being second best. It was always my sister and Joyce and JoyAnn, which was my name, given name. And I, no matter what my sister did, she would get an A in school and I would get an A minus. When we were young, she learned to walk. I was still crawling. It was interesting. It was like we made a pact in the womb. We were womb mates. And so I went through my life feeling not enough. For many, many years, I put a smile on my face because as a twin, everybody wanted to look at us. Made our mother very happy when we were smiling. So we learned to smile all the time and to conceal our feelings. And so um, when I finally, at the age of 50, decided there's got to be more to life, I've got to find happiness and joy, I started a journey of personal and spiritual growth. And that changed everything. And so by the time I was 75, I was one day I actually did a practice with Louise Hay's work on self-love. And so I would look in that mirror and just love on myself over and over, and I'd have tears falling down. And finally, I come to really love at who I was seeing. And then the joy that is now inner joy, my smile, it comes from that. It's not from a pasted smile that I thought I should have, wear all the time.
Like, so let me ask you this. So, as a child, you were having these feelings. Do you think that your sister or your mom or anyone were they aware of this?
No, they were not. And I didn't ever mention it. And when I was much older and then I shared that, they were surprised. I mean, I just felt that that's my lot in life. And I just accepted that. I love being a twin. Don't, that's been fabulous. That's brought a lot of joy and happiness into my life. But there was that element that also made it difficult for me to really feel happy and joyful.
Got it. So, um, as a twin, as a child, were you the pair that wanted to do things together all the time? Or were you really separate personalities?
No, we were very much alike, always have been, and still are. And um, so we chose, careers that were very similar or basically similar. Um, we really did follow the same path throughout life.
Interesting.
But we were apart for many, many years. Um, my sister and her husband moved to Colorado. I was raised on a Wisconsin, we were actually both of us on a Wisconsin dairy farm.
Hmm.
And I married my husband and we stayed in Wisconsin. My sister moved to Colorado and we were apart for about 30 years.
So
But we
how did that
stayed.
I was gonna say, how did that feel after being together so long and being so far apart?
It was, I don't know, we still felt connected, even though we didn't actually, some twins call one another every day and so forth, maybe only once or every week or 2 weeks. We really didn't stay, but yet when we got together, it was like we were never separated. In fact, we would choose things alike. Um, we chose glasses that were identical. We had no idea the
That's
other had it.
wild.
And and one Christmas, we showed up, they were sewed up a little bit different, but the same fabric in our dresses. And we often, would shop and want the same thing as we grew older, but oh no, when we have a few outfits that are the same, but otherwise it was like, no, okay, if Joyce wants that, then I will get something different.
Mhm. Wow. And then you went into interior design. What made you go into that?
Well, throughout high school, home economics education, where we had some interior design classes, and in 4-H. Those were my favorite subjects. In 4-H, it was interior design. I did up my room real special. And so it was a natural. Actually, the college I went to did not have a regular, quote, interior design program. It was home economics education. And so I taught high school a year, but then I moved on into work for a utility company. I was their lighting and kitchen design consultant. And then that led me into more full service interior design.
Cool. And how do you feel when you design someone's room?
Oh, bringing a proposal that you've done your best and you feel the client is absolutely going to love it. When you sit with her and share, this is the vision I have for you. I'm getting chills yet. It was just always a great deal of I felt so rewarded, but I had so much joy in doing that, in helping them to truly enjoy their surroundings, because I always knew, if you're happy with your home environment, you are happy.
Mhm. So
It
true.
certainly helps. It's a contributing factor.
So I'm going to use myself as an example. Let's say you have a client like me. So I'm one of those people, I like things just the way they are. They're fine. Like right now, my house needs to be upgraded, right? The kitchen, it all needs to be upgraded. But I think it looks fine, but it really does need to be upgraded. And like in my bedroom, since I'm single, I can have it however I want. So I just have the things around me that I like. But it wouldn't be the same as putting in your living room where someone walks into it and you want it to be presented a certain way. So if you had someone like me that I want it to look pretty, but I have no idea. I have no idea how I want my living room or my kitchen. I'm just saying, "Joyanne, help me." How would you
Yes,
start with how would you start with someone like me?
I would have quite a conversation with you to find out what you enjoy, your colors, what makes you feel good, what uh, just really get to know you. And then I would go to the design center searching for those things, those elements that I could bring to you and say, we could do this or we could do this. Which would you prefer? What makes your heart sing?
Mhm.
That-
Awesome. So you
That's
just bring me
basically
some
how I
choices that
would.
are closer to what you think I would like after having a talk with me.
Exactly, exactly. And with things that you already have there, I would want to know what's really special to you. What because we don't want to showcase a home. We want it to be your home
Mhm.
that gives you a real. You come into it and it's like, oh, I love this. It just makes me feel good.
Yeah, we all want a room like that for sure. And depending on how you're going to use it. I mean, I've seen people that have formal living rooms and you're almost afraid to sit down. And then there's other people that, this would be more like me. I want it to look pretty, but it's got to be comfortable.
Right. Right, exactly. It's got to be comfortable and it's got to fit your personality.
Mhm.
That's that's when it's comfortable. If that is a reflection of you.
Mhm. So going forward, you kind of had this, I guess, epiphany change around age 50 when you were doing this uh what is her name, LaHaye work.
Yeah.
And um how do you think that the interior design that you did for so many years affected you as you were recreating your life? You're recreating yourself.
I okay, and many with many of my clients, I saw an inner joy that I knew I didn't have. It was all from the outside, or not all, but I mean, I normally, if I did something for somebody else that made them happy, that's what made me happy.
Mm.
It So then I realized I need to do some personal work on myself. I want to find that spark within me
Mhm.
to, like I said, so that my smile would be authentic
Mhm.
and that I could just, no matter what's going on in my outside world, I would feel joy and happiness and not feel frustrated or looking for the next thing to fill me up
Mhm.
to make my life okay.
Oh, that was
But
just
the
so profound what
clients,
you said. So profound. Because so many of us are looking for that next thing to make us feel better, that to fill us up, but it's just like empty. It's really empty.
so I've experienced it both ways. And it's far better to have that inner joy and to celebrate life. I get up in the morning and so often I just jump up, even though I'm now 81, by the way, just turned 81. But I jump up and it's like, I love my life. I look forward to the things that I get to do. I mean, I'm super busy right now pulling together the book and our documentary film, but yet there's just so much joy in my life.
So cool.
And so it's it's such a contrast from when you're looking, seeking, searching. How am I going to be happy?
Mhm. If people are listening and they just listen to the words you're saying and just let it sink in for a minute, because it seems like simple words, but if you just let it sink in and ask yourself, what would make me happy? What would really make me happy? That is so neat. So I want to ask about your name because you were telling me about your name. So
Yeah.
your given name was JoyAnn, but now it's Joy, JoyAnn, JoyAnn Gold. So tell me about how you got your first and last name.
As I was attending some of the workshops, and one in particular, it was a personal, spiritual 3-day workshop where we got to know one another very well, the participants, and it was wonderful. Well, it was amazing. The gal that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, you sometimes she was always butting in, and I thought, would think, let the speaker, share her message.
Mhm.
Well, she came up to me afterwards, gave me a big hug, and said, JoyAnn, to me, that is not your name. You will always be JoyAnn.
Oh.
I I was so touched. I've not judged anyone since. You don't look at the outer or what's going on, you see the beauty with everybody. But
Mhm.
I was so touched. I told my mother, I told my sister, and I told my daughter. Mom said, if I'd have thought of that, I would have named you that.
Mhm.
My sister loved it. My daughter wouldn't let me let it be, let it go. Mom, when are you going to change your name? And it was fun when I started introducing myself because it was different.
Mhm.
And it really was a reflection of what I wanted to be and who I felt I was coming to be. Joy versus, Joe. So that just, and then so I'm thinking, all right, this was about the time of my divorce or a few years after. And I knew that I didn't want to keep my married name, my maiden name. I didn't evolve so much, didn't want to go back to that. So I was asking Spirit, I kept asking, what shall my name be? And early one morning, I woke up with this startled, it's gold. And I sat up in bed and I said, why gold? Immediately the answer came in, it flowed in. It stands for Goddess of Love Divine, GOLD. And I said, oh, I don't think I can take that on.
Of course you can. Yes,
I
you can.
believe in myself enough then. So it did take me a year or two before I legally changed it. And now I love it.
That is wonderful. And that says a lot about sometimes we're in a place and we're not who we want to be. And we know who we want to be. We actually have to become that person. We really do. And they
Mhm.
say to solve a problem, you can't be the same mind that caused the problem or got into the problem. So you actually have to become that new person or have that new thought or something. And so, I mean, that just kind of solidified everything. So you were becoming this different new person, this more joyful person. And then it just like cemented it all in to have that name that's just beautiful.
Thank you. Yes, it was a gift. It
Mhm.
was a divine gift.
Yeah. So,
The gal that came up to me, she was an earth angel too.
yes, there's a lot of angels around us if we just look
Yes,
around, right?
right.
And sometimes they're in the form of people and sometimes they're not, but they're around for sure. So, when did this idea, you're feeling joy for yourself, so you want to help other people feel that way, but then comes this big project, a film, a book with 37 authors. Where did this come from?
Well, I knew for many years that I wanted to have a book come and share how to live the third act of our lives. Because I heard so many people, including many of my clients as I was working with them, complain about, oh, I'm growing old, and how I'm so afraid I won't get to enjoy this that long. We're going to have to move because, I'm afraid I might fall or this or that. So I heard the fear over and over. And I thought, because I didn't have that fear in my heart. I was looking forward to those years, my future years, with a great deal of positive dreams and so forth. And so it seemed as though I've got to write a book about this. And I was going to write some of the stories of some of the gals I worked with. But then I decided, no, I want to hear from those that are truly ageless voices, those gals that have had all kinds of challenges in their lives. Many of my stars, I call them ageless stars because that's what they truly are. And we're all ageless stars, really, if we decide we are.
Mhm.
But these gals, so many of them, have reinvented themselves. They have had tragedies, they've had so many challenges, health, big, big challenges, life threatening challenges that they overcame and now are messengers of how to live agelessly and to not focus on your problems, but to focus on the possibilities and the joys of life. So I'm so happy. So I decided, yes, when I put out the call for the Ageless Stars, who wants to join me in this collaborative book? And these gals showed up, and I couldn't be happier with those that are my contributing authors.
So I'm just curious how you found your people. Was there certain words that you said in your message to attract who you wanted to attract? What kind of message did you put out there? Because you didn't want just anyone. You
No,
wanted your special people. So what kind of languaging or what kind of words did you use to attract those women?
I got to think what that was. I described the vision of what I wanted to share, what the whole, uh, that we want to change society's story from that focused on fear and decline to joy and expansion during the last third of our lives, which I've expanded a great deal right now. I mean, I got to tell you this quickly. I had a man come up right before my 80th birthday, and I was always holding my vision to 100 for my life.
Mhm.
He came up and asked, because being twins, we were together, and he came over to us and he said, "You got to be twins." And we said yes, and we chatted. And then he got around to asking, "How old are you?" And I said, "Almost 80." And he said, "Well, you've got another 40 years." So
Nice.
my vision has expanded to 120 years. I'm just beginning the third act of my life.
And actually that's biblical too. It says after a certain point, God said, no one's going to live past 120. I don't know if anyone has, but that's actually in the
Mhm.
Bible, 120.
Right,
Wow,
right.
that's so cool.
So that's the vision that I want people to hold. I mean, people aren't going to, a lot of gals and guys aren't going to grab onto 120, but I wanted them to know there is so much more when we reach this stage of life than feeling our lives are about over and focusing on what may go wrong.
Mhm.
And so the gals that showed up, Kimberly, I mean, they came with what they feel, their message, and it's like you are perfect.
That
I
is,
feel that was orchestrated too.
mhm. I believe it was. So, but you didn't stop at the book.
Yeah,
Tell me about the film. What is this film about? Who's in it? What is it talking about?
right. It's actually the same stars that are, we have written the book, it's being edited right now,
Mhm.
and the stories. And the film, we're in the process of filming right now. And so we there are sharing some of what were pivoting points in our lives and what we're doing that makes us ageless. And just we want our viewers to know, to walk out of that film feeling, wow, I don't have to worry about growing older. I'm going to grow ageless.
Mhm. So beautiful. It's so important the perspective you're looking from. If you're looking from fear,
Mhm.
wondering what's going to happen. I mean, I've even thought about that even, 10 years ago. I thought, when I get older, I'm getting a ranch. I'm getting a ranch because nobody wants to do stairs when they're older. You think about these things. My dad had a really bad car accident back in 1999 and he ended up in a wheelchair. He's great now, walking around, playing golf, riding his motorcycle.
Great.
He's all fine. But for 2 years, he was in a wheelchair. And I thought to myself, okay, my house when I get older is going to have wide doors. You start almost planning for the
Yes.
worst. Even though I was still young thinking about that, that made me think about accommodations you need as you get older. And there are some accommodations we have to make as we get older. I mean, I
Right.
love to exercise, but you know what? I can't always do all the exercise I used to do, even though I love it.
Our bodies change. I mean, I'm not saying when you are are thinking agelessly that the physical body is still going to change, but we don't allow those limitations to stop us.
Mhm,
We think, okay, I maybe can't exercise in the way I did, but what can I do?
mhm,
And so that's what the ageless mindset is, or the ageless attitude, as I often refer to it as. Um, Looking for the positive instead of dwelling on what might happen or fearing it. And also, that's the reason for the title of the book, Ageless Voices. When we have an ageless mindset, then we change our languaging. We are not talking about, oh, I'm afraid what might happen in the next couple of years, or if a new project or something is presented, we might say, oh dear, I think I'm too old.
mm,
When we have that ageless mindset, it's like, oh, yes, I may have to do it a little differently than I did some years ago, but I can do that.
mhm.
That keeps us feeling young.
That is so, so true. So with this film, are you going to have these 37 women all touring with the film?
We won't be able to, would be wonderful. I thought, oh, if we could, I mean, individually, many of the gals, and we are inviting others into our project to help share it. And so the idea is to do film screenings for many, many different organizations, club, church groups, nonprofits, because we do want to help, there's a lot of nonprofits that are really needing money for the causes that they care about. And so it just became clear to me that if we had a film, that we could do film screenings for these groups. We're actually helping people, step into an ageless mindset, and we're raising money for the causes they care about.
Got it.
So we have gals from all over, from Canada, throughout the United States, Mexico, one from the Bahamas, one from Jamaica. Our filmmaker is from Australia, Sydney, Australia. So that's the beauty of our online, how we can gather. And our filmmaker, we're doing online online interviews, but then we're also going to be sharing some videos, photos, and as she'll be editing and bringing all these things into our stories.
Beautiful. So this just popped into my head and maybe not even related, but have you thought about this film as a way to even educate children? Like, maybe not a kindergartner, but you're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 and up, where they hear the voices of wisdom in short little snippets of, this is what I've learned in my life.
Yes, and now we haven't even gone to that age, but I love it, the idea, Kimberly. Actually, I set out I was going to target more of the people over 50 plus. As we have come together with the stars and talking about it, we want to show the younger people what it can look like. Life can be fabulous after 60.
Well, and just for, how many people have died without leaving anything for their kids? They don't have a recording of their voice. They might even not have a video of them. They might have some old pictures. They don't have the learnings or the wisdom of the grandmothers. Nothing was left to the grandkids, great grandkids. But this film, these women are going to live on forever because people can still hear the wisdom they bring.
Right. And in our book, I'm so pleased that a number of the stars referred to their mothers or their grandmothers and what they did in shaping them who they are today. And so that's going to inspire, I think, many, many readers to look at what is the wisdom that my mom or my grandmother shared with me.
Yeah, just so important, just so important. So, and it has to do with not just the wisdom, but feeling that connection and closeness.
Right.
So I just love that. When you said, touring with a film, I thought, oh, 37 over 60s going from hotel to hotel. You know how it is when you get a group like a baseball group or something that comes to a hotel and they're just noisy in the lobby. And I'm thinking, oh, what if you had 37 grandmothers noisy in the lobby wearing their hats and whatever they're wearing and
I have
party
dreamed
everywhere.
I have dreamed of somehow, creating short tours where a number of the stars we could come together and create a tour For those that could join us, yes,
Hmm.
that's not out of the picture at all.
Yeah, that would be so fun. So, what is your best advice for people under 50?
Let's see. The first thing I would suggest that I didn't do myself would be to follow your heart. Find your own joy and do not let others' opinions or feelings of what others are saying influence what you want to truly do. It's so important that we never are truly happy if we're living somebody else's story. We need to find our own passion. We were given a divine blueprint, I believe, and we want to follow that.
Mhm.
And then let's see, the second thing I think I would suggest is to see life always as an adventure. That takes away the fear. Things are going to happen.
Mhm.
And so when they do, when things that you wouldn't choose in your life happen, then you can always ask, well, wonder what this means. What's the adventure? What is the gift in this?
Mhm.
And it really helps. You may not always know for some time, but yet if you view it from that perspective, it changes everything. Then if it's, oh, why me? Why is this happening to me?
Mhm. Yeah, so true. So, and then what about people who are going into that aging over 60 and beyond? What are some maybe habits, thoughts, things that maybe you do every day that keep you feeling young, keep you young?
You have to have a dream. You must have a vision for your life. In fact, I, let's see, about 10 years ago, I believe, I was working with a gal, and she invited me to create a 25-year life vision. And so I did. I wrote it out thoroughly. And it was so much fun. I mean, I spent a lot of time just visualizing what is it that I want when from 5 years, what I want to be doing. 10 years, 20, 25 years. That took me almost to 100 at that time. And it that the power of having that vision, having those dreams to go for, keeps you ageless because you've got so much you want to do.
Mhm. That is for sure. And talk about this. There's a lot of people as they get older, either they're already single or they've lost a spouse, or some of them have outlived even their children, their whole family. Um, they're kind of alone. What is your advice on that? Because we all need community. How do you get out of that to be able to feel connected again?
Well, that is so true. We need community, and fortunately now we have a lot of online groups to really help create community. But it's I would love to see. In fact, my sister and I've talked about this, even for ourselves, to have a bigger home and invite, two or three other gals our age to live with us. I
Mhm.
think I refer to us as gals.
Mhm.
It just feels more uplifting than women.
Mhm.
Uh, we, when we can really come together and live together in harmony. I had a friend who had created a space like that, and
Mhm.
it gave her so much joy. So I really encourage people to look at, especially maybe if a spouse is no longer with them and they have a big home they don't want to let go of,
Mhm,
consider that possibility.
mhm. That's a great idea, because I'm thinking of a lady that so I live in Georgia now, but I'm from Michigan, and my home church, there's a lady that, her daughter lives far away, and she's really
Mhm.
not capable to go to the store by herself or anything. So I know my mom goes and helps her or has lunch with her, and different ladies from the church come and have lunch with her, but she's still,
Mhm.
pretty alone. So it's good to have that community. And
And when you do create a community like that, it's every person can have something that they can offer. I mean, there's probably at least one of the gals that's driving yet.
Mhm,
Maybe another one just loves to cook. There's different, I mean, they're there and they're helping one another.
mhm. Yeah. I think another fear as people get older, we're saying we're not thinking about this, but it does happen that people get sick or things start to fall apart, and if they're alone, they're really not able to
Right.
take care of themselves. And if someone's going into that, let's say someone just had a heart attack or a stroke, and they don't have family there. How would you encourage them? How are you gonna help them keep that mindset even when things are happening?
I'm living with that situation somewhat with my twin sister right now. I live with her and she has a heart challenge. And we continually share dreams.
Mm,
That is, what do I want to do, and hold that vision. And so if you have a challenge that comes along, it's so easy to give up on life.
mm,
But I believe so much of the healing comes from our mindset.
mhm,
And so don't give up on life, folks. There's so much, even those, I mean, this reminds me of a man that was in a care center. And I was so struck by his story that he was basically bedridden,
mhm.
but he wanted to still make a difference. So he knitted a scarf, one scarf a day for the homeless.
Oh, how cool. I love that.
And so we can always think about, what can I do?
Mhm,
How can I give? How can I be a force for good, even if my body is falling apart?
mhm. Yeah, you
You
just
still
need
have value. We always have value.
right, right. Yeah, we all do. We're all If you're still here, then you have something to do. That's how I think. If you're still here, there's
Yep.
something for you to do, because you'd be gone if there wasn't. If you were done, you were done.
Right. That is so true.
So if people wanted to find out about, like, so the film and the book are still in process, right?
They are.
So if they wanted to find out about, you know, where would they find it? And do you have a website?
Okay. I've got two ways right now. Uh, we have a Facebook group that is called the Ageless Messenger Tribe. And that is a group that anybody can join. And we'll be posting a lot in there. We are about our journey. And so when our film is released and our book, everybody there will know about it. Everybody's going to be invited to the launch. And but right now we also have a campaign going uh, to to help fund the film, and also to for public awareness, to have more people become aware of our story and our mission. And so I believe you have the link you're
I
going to be
do.
posting.
I will post it in
Okay,
the show notes. So I do have that one.
great, great. And I would encourage everybody to go because in that link, you can see the trailer that was created to share a little bit about what our mission is, and you'll see the faces of the stars that you'll be seeing in person this fall when it's released.
That is so beautiful. So now I have a personal question for you.
Okay.
What gives you the most happiness and fulfillment in your life at this point?
I think I have to say right now, it is living the dream, creating the dream, which I feel this project is my legacy. I held this vision for about 15 years. And like I said, when I was almost 80, I decided it's now or never, and I got to go for it. And so it just brings me so much joy and fulfillment to know that it is happening. I will be out there doing the film screenings, meeting the people, seeing my vision. That is something I've wanted always, to travel. I see myself traveling in this country, but internationally, doing film screenings.
That is wonderful. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing your dream, your mission, your vision with us.
Thank you. I've loved sharing this. It's been great to be with you, Kimberly.
Thank you. So I have one last question before we finish. What is your best advice on living an incredible, amazing life?
My, it's like I said, I think the best advice is be joy, follow your heart, fall in love with yourself. And then you can love everything about your life. You will spread, you'll be a light shining for the world, and they're going to want what you have.
So well said. Thank you so much, JoyAnn.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you again soon.